Hello, everybody. Tate Davis here with another video for you. Sorry it's been such a long time since I posted, but I thought I'd do a little mini rant for you today. Five songs that bands probably don't need to cover anymore. And notice how I say probably, because if you like these five songs that I'm about to mention, and if your band likes covering them in a live setting or on an album or whatever, that's totally fine. I'm just giving you my perspective based on what I've seen and going to local shows in my area, in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, down here in Tennessee, and what I've listened to on different covers albums. And I personally love it whenever a band does a cover. I always like to hear, as a player, I always like to hear another ensemble's interpretation of a song. But these, I think, could probably not be covered as much, or maybe not anymore, because we already have so many of them. And most of these are well-known songs. So the first one that comes to mind is Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. I have nothing against the White Stripes. In fact, I love the White Stripes. Meg White was an early drum influence on me growing up. But man, ever since it started, becoming a sports anthem, you hear crowds in the audience go, oh, 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 oh. And not to mention a lot of my, bands that I've seen in my area near Chicago have covered this song. And it's just come to the point where it's like, I kind of expect it now. As soon as I hear dun 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 dun, I'm like, oh jeez, they really need to cover this. But what can you say? It's a classic song. I may never need to hear again on the radio or in a live setting. But for what it is, it's good. I even actually played it in one of my first bands. So can't really, be kind of hypocritical. I say, but probably never need to hear another cover of it again, but what you gonna do? So number four, this one was more in recent years. Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Yeah. A lot of the music camps that I went to, like the sanctioned music camps, like School of Rock and um, Camp Jam, maybe some independent stuff like that. At least one band, and I tell you, one band insisted on playing the song every time I went, and I've seen a whole range of live Paradise City covers, ranging from really crappy to pretty good. And it's just like, out of all the Guns N' Roses songs, especially out of all of the songs on Appetite for Destruction, that's the one you pick. Not, You're Crazy or Night Train or Rocket Queen or any of those songs. And on top of that, it's probably a Guns N' Roses song I never need to hear again. But I've just noticed that a lot of people, especially in recent years, and I'm talking about maybe the last 5 years, have covered this in a live setting. It's just like, oh, jeez. Of course, I've come to expect that now. So, number three is by a band whose frontman a lot of people hold in very high regard, and I do too. I don't think it charted very well when it was first released as a single in 1967, but if I never heard another cover of Break On Through to the Other Side by the Doors, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. Now that's one I've seen a lot of covers of. I mean, there's no other song in the Doors catalog that you could cover. It always has to be Break On Through to the Other Side. No Light My Fire, no Touch Me, no, Roadhouse Blues, no L.A. Woman. Break On Through to the Other Side. There's even other songs on that album that are worth covering over that song. Not that Break On Through is a bad song, but, like I said, I've heard UFO did a cover of it on their covers album they put out 2 years ago in 2017 called the Salentino Cuts, which I think is a very good covers album. But, that was one of the songs on there where I'm like, okay, I kind of expected it. But, nonetheless, number 2, We Will Rock You by Queen. Enough said about that, huh? You hear it in stadiums and, during sports events, and, it's one of those songs where, oh, I don't have anything to put in the set list. Let's do We Will Rock You. Get the crowd singing along. It's just like, okay, I've heard the song a billion times on the radio, we will rock you, like, it's fun, it's catchy. There aren't other songs in the Queen catalog that you couldn't cover, and I'll throw a bonus in one here. Bohemian Rhapsody. Man, it is funny trying to see, seeing bad covers of that on the internet. It just makes me laugh to see, singers of, like local bands, whatever area of the country, try to match Freddie Mercury's really high-pitched voice, when he gets up there. Although most, I will say, have done a really solid job. But, some of them, not quite cutting mustard there. But Bohemian Rhapsody, I probably never need to hear another cover of. That's one, especially with the explosion of the popularity of the movie. That, man, you see that on YouTube constantly, people covering that song. But, yeah, We'll Rock You, probably don't need to see another cover of it. And number one. This is a band that I love to the moon and back 4,000 times over. The drummer of this band has been is my second favorite drummer of all time, and who I consider to be the greatest drummer of all time. I never get tired of most of their discography that I've listened to a million times already. But if I never heard another band cover Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin, I would be a very happy man. And this is kind of a stigma that I've been feeling since the past couple years, because I have this festival in my hometown that they do every 4th of July weekend. And a lot of the, they get like a few of the same name bands every year, but sometimes they mix it up a little bit where they get some more, newer local bands, probably formed of people that are just doing it for fun. And almost every single year for like maybe the past 6 or 7 years, either as an opener or as a closer, one of these like local bands has always covered Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. And it's just become so cliche, in my opinion, nowadays to do that song, because it's like one of those songs where, you want to open with it and you want to get people's attention by playing a well-known song, or you want to close with the, because it's a 12-bar blues. It's really easy to play. And on top of that, you always see, based on the number of times that I've heard or seen live bands in my area cover this song, that little drum solo thing that John Bonham does at the end, that part. A lot of drummers either choose to play it verbatim or they just choose to improvise over it. Now, Bonham himself in live performances would, especially like in 79, 80, would improvise over it. But I've seen a wide variety of drummers either play it verbatim, or they just play it or they improvise their own version and it sounds really sick, or they improvise over it and it sounds terrible. I've done the latter before whenever I play that song, where I could just never get it really to sound right, and that's a me problem. I personally need to work on that, but it's just become so cliche where that's like the one song that whenever any local band I see, whenever the drummer plays the I'm like, I knew it. I knew it. One of the bands on the bill was going to cover this song, and it's a song I probably never need to hear again. Again, love Zeppelin to death. There are plenty of other songs in the Zeppelin category, in the Zeppelin catalog, that bands could cover, and it would make me, and I would find it really cool. Stairway to Heaven. I know a lot of people think that's cliche. Sick Again off of Physical Graffiti. How many bands do you hear cover Sick Again anymore? Not many. The Rover, Achilles' Last Stand, Hot Dog. How many bands do you hear cover Hot Dog? Not many. It's just, I don't know. I mean, look, that's my list for you guys today. But like, if like I said before, if you guys love covering these songs, if your band loves covering any of the songs that I mentioned, and there's probably more, I'm probably missing some. You can tell me the songs I'm missing in the comment section below. But that's great. It's just, I've come to think, and I've come to, it's grown on me that the stigma that I think some of these songs are kind of cliche, and it's just I go to your show and you cover one of these songs and I'm like, okay, I kind of expected it. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to my little rant today, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.